What are we talking about today?
The new talent trees.
There's new talent trees?
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of Server Restart In. It's a weekly World of Warcraft podcast with three opinionated players who get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim, joined by Kristen.
Hello.
And Brian.
Hello.
And as I don't know if I'll keep it in or not, but as some, maybe I did, maybe I won't. I don't know yet. I'll know tomorrow. But there are new talent trees out for Hunter and Rogue. So
quick turnaround too.
Yeah, I mean, which probably means they got a lot of them built and they're just polishing them up.
I mean, when you just steal stuff from people, what people already have, and throw it in a talent tree, it's not really, you've already got it done.
Sure.
Really
yes. Everything that's in the talent tree probably exists or has existed in some way, shape, or form, but that's not necessarily true because I think rogues are actually getting like raid utility abilities that are stuff they've never had before, like a damage reduction poison that'll cause mobs to do less damage.
That's cool.
I think they're getting some ability that will help other players around them in 40 yards, like reduce cooldown times or something like that.
Ooh.
Not like a lot, but just like every time
Alacrity in Guild Wars
every
2.
time they spend combo points, I think it takes some time off of a cooldown. That might be what it is.
That's cool.
So yes, while there is a lot of stuff that is going into the talent trees that already exists, there are new things coming in. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not just a copy paste from times gone and whatnot. But yeah, no, so that's what, 4 classes now that we got? Death Knight, Demon Hunter, Rogue, and Hunter.
How many classes are there? Demon
I'm sorry,
Hunter?
Druid, not.
I was like, when did they do Demon Hunter?
I think there's 12 classes.
So we have.
Yeah, they have 6 left. They've done 5. They have 6 left. Right?
5.
They've done 4.
4. Druid, Death Knight, Rogue,
Druid.
No, they've done 5.
Hunter. What was
Well,
the
then
other
they would
one?
have done 6.
What was the other
Okay,
class?
What?
Death Knight?
They've done 5.
No, they've done
Death
4.
Knight, Druid,
Death Knight, Druid, Rogue, and
Rogue
Hunter.
and Hunter.
Wait, no.
and
And Priest. Oh, when did
They did Priest. When did that happen?
Priest was the one that came out like last week.
Oh, I didn't
Oh.
even know
Something like that.
Whoops.
That's what I was saying. The turnaround was
Oh.
quick on it
Okay.
for 2 more to come out. So that's what I'm hoping, like, based on that. How
Well,
quickly it was. Maybe we'll see something I play soon.
they're going to be doing it because they've already mined or saw in the catalog or whatever that the alpha build is in the catalog now, meaning that it should show up in the launch. Or it's not available. Nobody's been invited for it, but like it's in the catalog for whatever the hell they call it for the launcher to access, meaning that alpha is probably going to start pretty soon, meaning that they're going to probably try and get these out fairly quick since the alpha will probably start soon, especially if we're going to see a release by the end of the year, because they're going to have to start really churning through these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't looked at it at all because, again, these are.
I'm already kind of annoyed with the Hunter one. So.
Why? What's the Hunter one?
Well, I mean, just if you get halfway down the Hunter side, and then, well, I guess it's improved Minpad. It's not Minpad itself, but I don't know. It's just bonuses to stuff like that. In this case, it's the marksmanship one. So, but the core tree doesn't change though, right?
No, the core
tree stays
change.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. Whatever.
If you think about the core trees, right? Left, middle, and right. I think druids have an extra one. It's like the spells tend to be on one side or one path, tend to
Right.
kind of correlate more towards stuff that would benefit a specific spec, right? Whatever,
Right.
like, you know, and it's just like,
Well, I like the thought that especially in this case, the one thing I'd like to see back is more of the hunter core, making the pet optional, not making the pet obsolete.
Right.
Like, so if you switch to a marksmanship and then like you just don't even ever need your pet or whatever the case may
I think
be,
it's if
you know
you
what I
go
mean?
lone,
Like,
that's when you go lone wolf, right?
Yeah.
is that what that is?
That is lone wolf. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that exists for marksman. So you go lone wolf and it ditches.
But it
your
gives you a
pet.
bonus, so there's an incentive
Yeah.
to not have like a pet.
Right.
Well, it's to make up for you not having the pet.
Right. Well, it makes it obsolete though. Like, you know what I
Well-
mean? So like, I don't know. Well, but it's it's optional, right? That's what you're saying is it's optional right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I gotta find it. I haven't found it yet, so I'm just curious.
Well, I think current marksman is like that. I don't know if it's
Oh,
going.
I see. Yeah, it's there. Lone Wolf is increases damage 10% when you don't have an active pet.
Right.
So that's fair.
Which means
does your
you could
pet
summon your pet
contribute
to do
10%.
Well, if you think about it, right, that's probably beneficial when you're doing. I don't know how much damage pets are. If you're
That's
marksman,
interesting though, isn't it? Like,
you're probably not built for high pet damage, right? So you're doing most of the damage anyway, and
right.
so it's extra.
But I mean, what I'm saying like is at that point, like I totally see two different classes here, right? Like an actual archer, and then an actual like hunter archetype, such as like Rexar represents.
right, that would be
um,
it's Beastmaster and Marksman, right? Kind of.
Yeah, but why put them together at that point? If they could be that much different, right? Because you could keep the hunter class more core to itself by have an animal involved in every spec and have it in different flavors other than just being like a beast mastery. Like the beast mastery was always cool because you could have two of them, or then when they had like unique, what were they called?
The
Unique.
spirit pets.
Yeah, you could get like T-Rex and all that stuff, and I
Oh.
think it was
Oh,
Lich
the
King when they
exotic
started doing that.
ones.
Yeah, the exotics.
Yeah, that was a beast mastery thing.
So you're
Just stuff
talking about
like that.
a pet based ranged class, and then just a ranged class, a physical ranged class.
Yeah, when you think of when you think of like the hunter in the Warcraft context, like it's the dwarf and the bear out hunting type of thing. So I don't know. I'm getting
Well,
into the weeds about it, to be
I
honest
know,
with you.
but like I think if you had like a hunter, right, like Bran Bronzebeard, right? Was it Bran?
Yeah.
Was he the hunter, or was it no?
Nesting Way.
Nestingwary, right? Hunters
Yep.
hunt animals, so a hunter you would think would just be ranged physical damage,
Well,
and
that's-
a ranger would be
I guess
more
that's
of like,
fair.
you know what I mean?
Right.
So like, I can see I don't think that there's enough there to make them enough to make each of those like a separate thing. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah.
It which sucks because it would be kind of a cool idea to add like those. I mean, but that's kind of like just adding, and that's kind of
Well,
what they
it's
tried
just,
to do. With
I want to get
specs.
more back to like, give me the Fury Warrior Hunter in the leather gear or whatever the case is that represents more of like what Rexar kind of seemed to be. I think that'd be great.
You mean
I don't
Rexar in WAD?
Oh God, I don't know. Rexar was in BC wasn't he?
I don't remember. But I know what you're saying. It's more of just like almost like a wild man, like barbarian type thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe they should
Something
do
like
that. Maybe they should just make it like a wild man. Or like
well,
a-
that's what they would do, and I don't want that.
Oh.
Like I don't want the crazy new class that's randomly named. I want the, like it's like having an archer or ranger or whatever the case maybe is for the Warcraft universe. Like they already exist in some form or fashion. Why not just acknowledge around that and pull the pieces out, right? I mean, I don't know. whatever. I mean, they're already tailoring these classes specifically, right, in order to balance them across the board. So, I mean, I don't see it as much more than pulling it out and making it its own type of class. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get it. You know, it's kind of like it would
it's
be
funny because I never thought about that until I started walking down the street, and I'm like, oh, huh, interesting. So, I don't know. I can only say that because I played Hunter for at least, God, 2 or 3 years hardcore. And even I started with a Hunter in World of Warcraft originally. And I loved the pet aspect. Like, even going back and playing Classic or BC, my son and I were playing, I started a Hunter, and then I have my pet tank, and it's fantastic. It makes leveling a great experience.
Are there only 2 pet classes? Hunter and Warlock?
Oh.
'Cause I don't think anybody else has a perma pet.
Constant pets? Yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean,
'cause I think, like,
you can say Death Knight, but that pet is just a damage thing. That's not like I'm talking more so like, right, Warlocks, you can have the blueberry, like it's not like, oh, your pet can tank. It's like you have to have the right demon out for it. But like, you know, but you have that versatility with the different types of pets.
Yeah.
Same thing with Hunter, right? It's like you can get the tenacious pet and the ferocious pet or whatever like the kind of trees are for them, you know,
Right.
and but I think those are the only 2 ones. So, I mean, it would have been cool if they would have made an engineering class and you could have robots.
oh, yes.
Like, I mean, I guess they kind of did that with Mechanome Hunters.
Yeah.
Like, you can have like a mechanical pet, but it's not the same thing. They should make it like
They should have a mech class.
in Team Fortress 2, make an engineer where you can build turrets and shit.
That would be awesome.
Because they're kind of like totems, right? Why can't
Yeah.
that could be like a subclass of
Here
shaman,
we go.
a
We're not getting paid for this.
Ah.
a mechano shaman where you put down turrets instead of totems.
Oh my
That's
god.
crazy.
That
That
would
would
be
it would be
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so we got new talent trees. Got some, I guess, bad news coming out. Not World of Warcraft related, but Heroes of the Storm is officially being put in maintenance mode.
Oh, it wasn't
Really?
in maintenance mode?
Yeah, no, because they were still
I like Heroes of the Storm.
I know.
I enjoy it.
It's going to be dead soon. If they're putting it in
You
that,
enjoy it?
I
Is that what you
like
said?
it. Yeah, I enjoy it.
When was the last time you played?
she enjoyed it while she
I
played.
enjoyed it while I played. It's been a while since I played, but
Dude.
I
Like 6 years ago.
It
I
could
mean,
be about 6 years.
I don't know if it was quite that long ago, but I enjoyed it. I liked it. I played quite a bit of it actually. I mean, AI against the AI. I
Yeah.
would never play against people.
That's what I think. I
That's
mentioned
what I
this
liked
before, but
about
like, as soon as somebody trolled me about who I was using and what I was doing with that particular character,
Yeah.
that's when I stopped playing.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
didn't play with people. I played with the bots, and I had a really good time playing with the bots.
Yeah.
So, you know,
That was fun. I enjoyed
somebody needs to entertain the bots, and that was me.
Ah.
I
Well-
was, you know.
So the post says that moving forward, they're going to support it in a manner similar to their other long-standing games, StarCraft to StarCraft 2. So it's not getting shut down. It's just they're going to have season roles and hero rotations, and the in-game shop is going to remain optional, but there's not going to be any new content added, and future patches will primarily focus on client sustainability and bug fixing with balanced updates coming as needed. So they're not shutting it down, but they're not actively
They're not,
developing new
right.
stuff for it.
Right.
So it's like StarCraft or StarCraft 2. It'll still be around. It's probably not going to like cost them much to run the servers and all that stuff, especially if they put it on something that'll spin them up as needed, you know, because then it can, you know, it'll probably just run one at a time since
So
nobody plays.
So take a deep breath and think about the day that this happens for WoW, because at some point it's gonna happen. You know?
Why would you
It's
do
too
this?
far
Well,
away. That's
I
for sure.
mean, no, it's going to happen. They're doing it with Heroes of the Storm, so of course it's going to happen.
People do not play Heroes of the Storm the way they play WoW. Okay?
I mean,
WoW still makes them money. a lot more people play WoW and continue to play WoW, Heroes of the Storm is a very... If they have 10,000 players, active players at any given time, I would be surprised.
Yeah.
If they had 1,000, you know what I mean? It's like you don't see people streaming it. You don't see people, really playing it. It's just, it was their, attempt to recoup fucking Dota, which was based off of Warcraft 3. You know what I mean? It was their attempt to jump into it too late.
Yeah.
It was really cool because, you got to have like all these like classic characters from Blizzard properties in there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And they're different designs too. That was the best part.
You mean like Arclight?
No, Arclight is just World of Warcraft. Heroes of the Storm had stuff from all the different stuff.
I know.
And you're trying to be funny, and
I was trying.
Arclight's not out yet. We can't bash it yet.
Oh, god damn it!
Soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
Oh, okay. All right.
Soon.
Okay.
TM.
All right.
So yeah. So anyway, that was announced recently. Let's see. Yeah, the Battle.net catalog config data has stuff for the alpha. We talked about that briefly for Dragonflight, so that's good. Later. So they're going to be. They put some statements out about season 4 coming out. They are looking at Cosmic Flux availability. On how to, and primarily the concerns are because people have a lot of Cosmic Flux on characters and can't send it to other people. So they said they don't know the exact implementation yet, still being decided, but they're going to be addressing it on the launch of season 4 or shortly thereafter. So you can probably send Cosmic Flux to alts, right? For creation.
I thought they already.
No, Cosmic Flux. No, you can use Cosmic Flux to buy
vendor on. Where you buy an item and then just transfer?
That's probably one.
Wait, hold on just a second. So patch 925 hotfixes, July 8th. Players who are friendly with the Enlightened can now purchase a pouch of Prodigious Wonders. The item is sold by the Quartermaster for 1,500 Cosmic Flux, allowing you to transfer 1,250 to any character on your account. They didn't think about that for very long.
Yeah.
That doesn't, because this came out a day ago.
This is today.
Oh, damn. Okay. I guess then they must have done it already. Okay. I guess that's news. And it's done and packaged up, so we'll just go ahead and skip over that.
But it's kind of cool.
I didn't realize that.
Thought about it and just sent it out. I mean, whatever.
Because because they're saying that, I don't know. I'd have to, because they're talking about account-wide stuff and blah, 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 but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's only like there's 2 fixes for dungeons, and then that is added. That's a blue post today.
Damn. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Go them, I guess. Also with season 4, they're going to be resetting Valor and Conquest.
Yay.
But Valor will not have any caps for season 4.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, because it's a fun season, there's not like a lot there, so there's not going to be any cap right away. There's not going to be any cap at all for Valor. Conquest will be reset and to have a higher weekly cap when then will be fully uncapped a few weeks in, but that's like a PvP thing. That's kind of... That's
not anything I would care about.
But it's going to be higher than it currently was.
I like the uncapping of the Valor.
Which means we'll be able to farm stuff pretty easy.
I like that very much.
They said that the 100% drop rate for the mounts for Mythic Sylvanas, Jailer, and Heroic Jailer will remain until Dragonflight, so they will still have 100% drop on the mounts.
Dang.
Which...
What does she drop again?
She drops, like, it's the Dragonhawk, like the ghostly Dragonhawk. Or like the Maw Dragonhawk. I can't talk. Maw Dragonhawk. Yeah. Mythic Jailer drops that weird looking little boat looking thing. And Heroic Jailer drops like the Spider Halandras type mount.
Gotcha. Cool.
I don't think I care for any of them, honestly.
Yeah, but they're mounts.
Yeah.
So let's see.
I'm a druid. I don't ever use mounts other than myself.
There was a blue post about the vendor currency for Season 4 vendor currency to be acquired early and adding catch-up. Not catsup, but catch-up mechanics. So let's see. Players, so it's going to be quests to kill a certain amount of bosses to get dinar, which is the currency to buy the items. And it says that you would get the season's limit within 6 weeks of killing 10 bosses per week.
What is that for?
That's to buy the faded items. So they're putting vendors in for gear from the faded raids that you can buy by doing these quests. And so they said they got a lot of feedback about what if you join late or had alts and all that stuff. So what they're going to do is as time goes on, they're going to reduce the amount of bosses you need to kill to get the same amount. So like at the beginning, it's like 10 bosses to do the raid, and eventually it'll be down to 3 or 4. So like you can do the same amount of bosses, but get like 3 or 4 times the amount of stuff so you can earn it faster.
Right.
Says they're not looking to change the rate of acquiring the materials to upgrade a faded item to heroic or mythic. That's still going to be 100% drop rate from heroic or mythic bosses, and you need 20 of them to transform an item. So you can take an item and upgrade it by killing bosses and getting that thing. It's 100% drop rate. I'm assuming it's 1 per kill, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the amount that they're dropping is. And let's see. They talked about doing some stuff. The Heroes Path portals will still be in there for the new dungeons for Mythic Plus stuff if you do a 20 or higher. They talked about
20 or higher.
Yeah, they talked about the ahead of the curve stuff is going away. So I mean, like they're kind of still tracking all this stuff.
The ahead of the curve stuff is going away.
Once Season 4 does, yeah. Which is the achievement, not the mounts, though. The mounts are still going to be 100% drop off of the boss because they're not tied to the achievement.
No, they're tied to the quest item usually that you get for killing the boss
Right.
on heroic. Yeah.
And it says, as well as the 100% drop rates aren't going away until Dragonflight launches. The Sylvanas and Jailer mythic mounts will stay in the game, but be significantly reduced. That says mythic, so I don't know if the heroic one will or not. I'm assuming it will if the mythic ones are going to stay in the game. That would just kind of make sense. Apparently there was an LA Times interview with Mike Ybarra. And
yeah.
this is not what you think.
Did he sell
This is
him?
not
Did he sell him on Smith?
This is not the Diablo
thing?
Immortal one. I don't give a shit about that. This is more important.
I mean,
He said Blizzard is committed to bringing back BlizzCon.
Selling Mythic Plus runs. What?
BlizzCon in 2023.
committed to making us use the cash shop.
Okay. Moving on.
Will
Moving
there
on.
be DLC for BlizzCon?
You mean like mounts and stuff for buying tickets? Or just like, are you just being
sorry,
smart?
Cash Shop. Sorry, I meant Cash Shop.
Cash shop for BlizzCon. Yes.
Anyway, they're
I
going.
feel like there's always cash shop for BlizzCon.
They're
because
going- they
There's
got-
merch.
They got a new leader of BlizzCon, somebody named April McKee, who they're working to bring everything back and get BlizzCon up and running again. There's that. Some UK organization is doing an investigation or an inquiry onto the Microsoft acquisition to make sure that it doesn't do things like, I don't know, so what does it say? They're trying to determine whether the merger will result in a substantial lessening of competition, hurt competition through higher prices, lower quality, or reduced choice. So, I don't know. Other people
Did you say England
yeah,
is doing that?
UK.
I mean, do they even have any say in...
I mean, technically no, but
Okay.
it's But
because I'm like, that's a business here in the United States. So
but they do business in those markets, right? So they
Sure.
can still be affected by them. Apparently, they did something. This organization, let's call Competition and Markets Authority, did something where they basically ordered Facebook to sell Giphy or Jiffy, if you prefer.
ugh.
It's Giphy. We're not going to get into that argument, but that's currently being appealed. But like, I don't know. It's all these whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that
I
was
didn't
that.
know Facebook owned it.
I guess they bought the website or whatever.
Huh.
Which, I don't know. As far as I can tell, it doesn't cost anything to use as a consumer. It's just built into a lot of things. So unless like apps have to pay for a license or something like that to include,
Isn't it in Discord?
it's in Discord, I think. It's in Signal. It's in a lot of text apps, I think. It's probably like the premier one that has like the API for all like your text messaging and stuff. I don't know. I really don't care.
Jim doesn't care.
Jim doesn't care.
But anyway, we can
Jim don't care.
finally dive into the really big thing
Ooh,
that came
what's
out.
that?
And that is,
Dragonflight. It's a new expansion.
yeah.
Oh.
And see, there's
It's
this
coming out
game
next year.
called World of Warcraft.
Oh. Oh. Well, okay then.
No, there was this giant blue post and or whatever
Oh,
about
is it crafting?
about the profession previews.
And how we're gonna have to buy stuff in the cash shop?
Jesus Christ.
In order to make ourselves not have luck or not
No.
have to rely on luck. I guarantee that's what's gonna happen.
The only thing that luck does is make it better. You can't. Okay, you do not have a chance to craft less than a certain the level of the item that your stats and whatever the recipe are, right?
Right. Yes.
So,
right.
and you can get gear that increases the chance of it and all that other stuff that you have, whatever. But that's no. God damn it! You watched other people talk and bitch about this, and it's colored your opinion of it.
I came
You-
to that conclusion on my own. Thank you very
Mhm.
much. That was because they didn't say anything about that.
Mm.
I came to that conclusion on my own.
I think
because
I don't like that conclusion
I know you do not.
because it's very, I don't know.
It's biased towards
It's just being salty to be salty.
yeah.
But no,
We'll see when it launches.
So-
I just want to throw this out there that I am going to say that I guarantee there's going to be a cash shop component.
is there
that.
anything?
So just remember,
Has there been anything in the last 9 expansions in the original game in the cash shop that is an item that is not cosmetic or a mount or a pet?
this was all before Diablo Immortal and how much money they're making from Diablo Immortal.
If they try to do that in WoW, there will be a revolt.
I hope so. I hope so.
They are trying so hard to not get
That's-
everybody up in arms about shit
Yeah.
that I do not think that they would try and do that.
I hope not.
You know, and especially
I don't know. Both sides of it, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
if it's truly they're making that amount of money, like,
They're making
Why
a
would they
lot
care?
of money.
I get it, but it's when you have a game that already has a subscription and you have a
oh
cash
yeah, don't
offer-
get me wrong. Like, I don't think they're gonna do anything like super blatant, but they're gonna tiptoe
Yeah.
around it to maximize what they can.
Yeah.
So I think what
And they're gonna that was where that luck thing said they're like you can try to rely on the luck or you can use an item that will guarantee it. So that's where I'm saying they're like, oh well, 99.5% of the game you can complete without having to use the cash shop, like with the Diablo Immortal thing, and then there's only that end game where you have to spend money, which is what most people do is end game. Right? So, I don't know.
I think the fact that they want to have they're doing this to make it competitive. Not competitive, but like the way it's going to work is each profession is going to have different paths that you can level up, right? So you can get like almost like an expertise in a certain thing. I think they talked about like being a blacksmith and going down the route of focusing on helms, right? You make the best helms kind of thing. You know, it's like, and the other thing is too, is I don't think that that's going to be the case because they said you're going to know all the recipes by about halfway through the skill level.
Right.
Meaning you don't have to waste time crafting things to level up to unlock things.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? You know how like
What's the leveling for then?
it gives you better at getting higher quality items, more skill points, stuff like that. There's going to be crafting gear that has inspiration gives you a chance to an X amount of percent chance to be inspired crafting this recipe with extra skill, which will make you get some bonus quality on the item, so it could be higher. There's resourcefulness, which is a trait which will give you a percent chance to use fewer of the tradable reagents, like ore, to craft the item. So like if it took like 20 ore, there's a percent chance it might take 15, so you save 5 ore, right? You know, you can make more money if you use less. Right. There's
Well, colored me inspired, Jim.
Okay, there's multi-craft skill or crafting stat, which for stackable items, you have a chance to craft more.
Which is nice because I
It's
actually really liked that in alchemy.
Yeah, the procking.
In Legion.
Yeah.
I liked that you had the chance to. I never procced ridiculous amounts of stuff, but I liked.
But that's been in for a while, hasn't it?
Well, they got
It's
rid of
either
it.
Alchemy
They got rid of it after Legion. Like that was just a feature of Legion or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, and I don't know if that's so. Like, obviously, it's like potion. Or see, Potion Master was a thing like in Burning Crusade. You have potion and
transmutation.
Well, no, Potion Master. Oh yeah, I guess was it transmute?
Yeah.
Okay,
you transmuted the
You could get more transmutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if that's not just for like consumables, so like let's say I'm crafting base mats for an item, right? And if I have that, maybe, you know, and you're crafting like stacks of metal plates that you use in making armor, you know, maybe you have a chance to get more of those kind of thing, you know? I mean, that could be good for that. And then there's a crafting speed 1. And that's like, and, you know, it says, you know, for those of you who mass produce crafts for the auction house or just want to save a few seconds now and then, crafting speed is a stat to help you with those items a bit faster. So, I mean,
kind of cool.
Yeah, it's neat. They're expanding upon it, you know, and they're making it, you know, worthwhile. You know, there's this talk about crafting raid level gear, which you can, I think, at most have 5 equipped. But like those reagents take time to get. And I think the reason why, because I think you can do like you get like a weekly quest or something like that, or it's a series of quests that gives you enough to make one piece of gear, you know, and like it takes a while for that to reset, so you can do that. I think that's because they don't want people to just craft almost a full set of raid gear, right? It's like the creation catalyst, you know, initially. You started off and you could craft one piece every, was it 7 days? Was it every week initially?
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't know if they're going to make that so that it will scale over.
And you know what? I actually like the pace of that too. I don't feel that it outpaced the opportunity to get gear. And I feel like it was a great way of getting any piece of gear and having a chance to re-roll it, essentially.
Yeah, it's almost like the reforging.
Yeah, and even like for the Mythic Plus gear that drops, and then you could turn that into it as well. Like just the options there made
Yeah.
that feature fantastic.
I
and
actually really
hope
liked
they bring it back.
I actually really liked the creation catalyst as well.
Yeah, and I
think they
think
did
this
a good
is
job with that.
I think
do.
this is kind of similar to that, where it's like they don't want you to be able to just craft 5 pieces of gear or whatever because they all start, it says all of these types of gear, like you can have 5 pieces of gear equipped at once. 2-handed weapons count as 2. So that way you don't have like, because I don't know. But they start at an item level near normal raids and increase with quality, which, you know, if like you make them higher quality, they're a little bit higher than normal rating stuff. But I get that they don't want you to just, that to be the main source. They don't want that to be the optimal path for gearing. They want it to be an additional thing to, you know, maybe you're, like we all know,
Bad
our
luck with me.
Our luck sucks. So at least you could get a piece of gear and control what it is.
Yeah, that's the important part. And just keep in mind, mark this episode. I actually liked something that Blizzard did this expansion. It's yay! Yay!
Everybody write it down.
Good
Kristen
job.
liked something.
I liked something. Woo! It's few and far between, so we got to celebrate it when it happens.
Yay!
I will say,
Party.
I always tell people, WoW has done obviously some things right, or I still wouldn't be playing it. But the best thing they ever did right was transmog. Like their transmog system is phenomenal. I like it very much. The only thing that could make it better, is if they didn't charge for it. But you know,
even then, that's such a paltry sum.
It's
so low.
If you're not changing a lot, it's pretty low.
Even if you're changing a lot, even if you do 10 changes a day, you're at what, 1,000 gold? Maybe you can make that in no time.
You can make that in no time because
No.
you play.
Oh, well, okay.
See, that's 50 Death Knights.
On the other hand, cannot make that because I don't play.
So, I think, didn't their transmog system come out after Guild Wars 2 had theirs?
I don't know.
I know Guild Wars 2. It would be nice if they would look at Guild Wars 2, and I think Final Fantasy 14 has some of this too.
No, Final Fantasy
No.
14 is terrible.
No. I'm talking about the dying systems.
Oh yeah, I agree. Dying
the ability
is
to
better.
dye
Yes.
portions of the gear and change the coloration of it.
Yes.
Like dyes were a big thing in Guild Wars 2. Certain dyes used to sell for so much fucking gold.
EverQuest had dyes. I mean, I don't think it was until like the 3rd expansion, but that was like 1999 or 2000. Yeah. So
I mean, I don't know. But I think having the ability to, because that could be something else for what is the Inscriptionist, right?
Yeah.
They could make fucking dyes.
Yeah.
They could get the plants and make dyes. You could gather reagents and take a base plant and take like clam shells from the stupid clams you always get that you have to open or whatever and make like, you know, like go do that. And then make the gear so that certain parts of it, not everything, doesn't have to be the whole piece, but just allow it to make it modifiable.
Yep.
That would be amazing if they did that.
Yep.
Do you realize, like,
coupled
with the transmog system,
yeah,
and adding that dye system in there, you know, oh man,
yeah, no, I agree.
But
I say all the time, I wish Final Fantasy had WoW's transmog system.
Yeah,
like
wow.
I do, and you know, there's very few things that I think that way about in regard to both games, but definitely that one. Like, I 100% wish that it would just copy. just copy. Even ESO did it. They gave you a sticker book too, that you basically, you get the item, boom, it's in there, and then you can use it on whatever. Like, you've obtained the item, you know, so you can use it. And I wish that they would do that. Yeah.
So, one of the other things is I think they're redoing the flask system. and they're making these things called vials. They're like flasks. They last through death. Count both as battle and guardian elixirs type thing. They take about half the reagents to craft, last half as long, but you can drink 2 of them to get the duration of a flask. But they have different abilities. So like the examples they have is they have one for versatility, one called that's tepid versatility. Vial is static empowerment. Remaining stationary will increase your intellect by or up to 240 over 5 seconds. Movement consumes the effect, granting up to 500 speed. And then they got one charge isolation. Your intellect is increased by 225 while at least 10 yards from allies. So, I mean, there's going to be more of them.
I mean, I'll tell you right now that movement thing breaks the thing. With how much Blizzard likes putting AoE effects on the ground and making it so you have to move, that's going to be a dead potion.
Well, I think it depends. Again, it could be useful for certain fights.
I guess, but they haven't really had a patchwork style fight. When's the last time they had a patchwork style fight?
That could also not be necessarily intended for raids, but that could be like if you're out in the world farming. You know what I mean? It's like, there's going to be a whole bunch of them. So, I don't know. It's interesting. It will be nice to see how this stuff's going to work out. I'm excited. It breathes new life into professions.
My goodwill only extends so far.
Yes, we know. To the transmog system, and that's where it ends.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. I think that any change to crafting has the potential to. I mean, any change they do has the potential to be a good change, but I think that this is going to bring some new life into essentially a dead system. It's like, and it keeps it relevant seemingly through the whole expansion, because you can continually work at it and all that stuff. And the crafting orders or whatever, the fact that, it's like a new like auction house type thing where people can place orders and you can go on and fulfill it and find work to do. You could play the game just doing that. It's like people do that in Final Fantasy. Like
now
they need to find a way to make materials and stuff not so anchored to level ranges or expansion ranges.
Something I don't understand is why, I was thinking about this earlier today with crafting. I'm like, I don't understand why they don't make things exactly like what you're saying. Like, make some things where you have to go into the Firelands to get something. Makes it, you know what I mean? Like, make it so you have to go into these different raids or blah, blah, blah to farm these items. Like, there's a crap ton of places that you have to go to get these things. Make it so we have to go. Like, oh, this item actually uses this. Don't make it just the stuff in the main areas that people are in.
What let me add on to it. Are you ready for this?
Okay. Yes.
Let's turn older raids into scenarios where you can queue up with just some folks without Holy Trinity, right? Set up and go in and just obliterate stuff to effectively go do stuff like this, right?
But I mean, you can already
like
do that.
The raids already. Well, I'm just saying, like, the raids are over, right? The context is like, well, you got to go back there for something. I don't know, something of that nature. But
it's
bringing back.
We had something similar to that where we went back to old artifacts, right? We had to go do stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like make it something like that, but like, back to the Firelands. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna go in the Firelands, and like the bosses aren't there, but like there's some mobs and stuff like that. Like I get what you're saying, like. Make it like a scenario that takes place in there. I think let's let them get the system set up and then expand on it, because that's a lot to do. Like what they're trying to do here, and then on top of that to go back in and be like,
obviously my original statement was like, there's way too many fucking materials in the game as it is. So like this system is only going to matter for the end game, and that's it, right? Leveling is too quick for it to even matter. No one's going to stop and create things for those lower levels and stuff like that. And even when they do, it's going to matter for bigger ranges of levels under the max level. You know what I mean? Like, so it's going to be just for max level, and that's it.
So, you know what would help with that? Housing. Because then you could give all kinds of different things to all the different professions and things that they could craft.
She's not wrong,
housing.
Jim.
I'm not wrong.
She's not wrong, though. Like,
but I want to go back to what you were talking about level appropriate gear. They tried to do that in WoD. They made those relics where you could take older pieces of gear and make them at higher levels. It didn't work out to be useful because they weren't high enough level for necessarily what you were doing, but like in the level, I think it had to do with when they made the zones scaling. So I think it was in did I say WoD? I meant BFA.
You said WoD, yeah.
I meant BFA. When they separated all the proficiencies out, or all the professions out into expansion-based levels.
Right.
Right, so you had BFA 0 to 100. You had Legion 0 to 100. You know what I mean? Yeah. They also added like those relics or whatever, or reliquaries or whatever you could do to add to older items to bring them up.
Right.
And so if they would have something like that to where you could...
I mean, let's be fair. They could have still added that in even this last patch, main patch 9.2, instead of doing the fucking anima crap to get 226 gear. Like, they could have just done that instead. They're assholes. So,
well, I don't know. We'll see. I think this is going to be a good base.
Because I totally did use that, like, on my own, and even like crafting and stuff. Like, the stuff was being sold. I bought plenty of stuff like that. But then, like, once you get to this certain point where it's like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, options are dwindled down at that point. You know, it's just how it's going to be. So, like, it sounds great and it sounds fun, but I know from the RPG perspective, it's just going to dwindle away as we get off of the brink of the beginning of the expansion. Like, every damn feature like this.
I don't know. I think the fact that this will, if they would slow down the leveling process, you could make that kind of stuff worth more, to where you could craft a good piece of gear that you could start a level that you could, like, in classic.
Maybe, but like it's artificial to what the actual like the solution is artificial to what the actual problem is, isn't it? Like, I mean, the whole idea of having even item levels stretch so far between the beginning of the expansion level and the end game level, like, it's too far. Like, consider Shadowlands, like where we started at when we were, normal gear at max level. We were like, what, 150 something? I don't know. And now we're like in the high 200s. It doesn't have to be that way. And mostly it's only because, like, they need some sort of distinction between all their fucking rating and mythic and all this other garbage. Yeah. That where they have to create those boundaries to push the game's timeline out right enough to essentially milk it, right? I know it's a bad word to say in this context, but in general, like, if you created more of a persistent world where these things were just needed in some way rather than just checkpoints that people reach and that's it, then you would create, it'd be more of a world that can sustain this type of feature. I mean, straight up, it's just not as RPG as it thinks it is.
So you brought up milking it, and to quote a very intelligent man, you can milk anything with nipples, and we all saw Zolval's nipples prominently displayed throughout the entire expansion. So yes, I will agree with you on that point. They were definitely milking.
He probably had Azeroth essence squirting out of his nipples every time he called into it. His whole armor was filled with it. I'm not wrong, though, Jim. I'm not wrong. Pointing at the camera.
I didn't say you were wrong.
I might be mostly wrong, but I'm not fully wrong. Okay?
That's right.
All they got to do is stick us in a Warcraft persistent universe, and we will just keep throwing money. And yes, if you put a new house deed type on the store, I will probably buy it. FYI. So,
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I, for one, am excited for the crafting. I think that it's going to be a change, a chance for new life for professions. And I think that if this works, then it's something that they can expand on. If this is an experiment for a feature to breathe life back into it, to make it relevant and stay relevant longer. They tried it with the legendary stuff, right? But the entry level into it, to get up to the max level, because like you said, it's all about getting the gear at the highest level. The entry level into that required you to make so many rank 1, 2, 3, you have to rank 4 initially, that if you didn't have somebody feeding you mats or the money to buy the mats, you were out the market, right? And like at the beginning, the prices were sky high, and then they dropped as availability came out. Got higher. So I think that because this isn't the entry level for this stuff, for making these things, is time, not money, because time is money, friend. And you can farm the stuff, you can skill up by taking orders and all that stuff. And that they talk about, oh, you could become the go-to person for such and such, and I'm like, I don't know how well that's gonna work. It's like, but I mean, maybe you do that by putting more of your own resources in it to make happy customers. I don't know, but I mean, we'll see. It's got a good, I get a good feel off of it. I think it has a lot of potential.
I'm glad. I'm only being salty because we just know they've tried a few
That's okay.
times. And
I drown in a sea of salt every time we record, because I record with you guys. And
Jim,
I'm used to it.
You can look forward.
It's
you
very
can look
buoyant.
forward to that company they just bought for World of Warcraft, so they can pump up
Cash Shop,
the game store, the cash shop.
Yep.
Oh, that cash shop's gonna be something else, buddy.
Yep.
all right.
Buy your next level. Buy 10 levels for a 10% discount. That is gonna be amazing. Holy
Yep.
cow! I can't wait. Cash shop. Here we come.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. It's been a pleasure. You can check us out at facebook.com/server restart in. You can shoot a tweet at server_restart. Send us your favorite fish, and we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.